Hi, everybody. I mean to tell you, I am trying to get these blog posts out, and the last one, something has gone wrong 2 times. So, like 11 minutes in. So I've decided that I'm gonna let that one rest for now and find a different one because that's crazy. So I'm just cleansing my space a little bit, taking a moment, and we're going to try on a different one. I have to believe that there's some reason why that one didn't work before. And it was a really good one too. But anyway, this one's going to be great too. I haven't read it, but it's called On Those Days When I Was Unruly. Here, I don't know if you can see the picture. I'll try to show you. Hold on. See that, you guys? I have to pride myself. I think I made some fun little images, even though that was like super easy on Instagram or whatever. But there you go. Look at that. March 30th, 2015. On those days when I was unruly. Also, my little light just died too. I'm so new at this, but I'm so glad that you're here. Let's be real together, shall we? Okay. All right, so I'm going to read this one, and it's called, of course, as you just saw, On Those Days When I Was Unruly, which is funny because I live to be unruly now. So let's see how clean I was back then. All right. Chris's first week of radiation appointments were scattered all over our calendar. Okay, so I'll stop really quick there. I believe it was after the second brain surgery that they found cancer and the radiation treatments began. And those were Monday through Friday for 6 weeks in a row. We had to drive an hour and 20 minutes to Aurora, which was east of Denver, to the Anschutz Medical Campus up there. Every morning for 30 mornings, minus Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, moving on. I'll start over. Chris's first week of radiation appointments were scattered all over our calendar. It wasn't until the second week that we became fixed on the tomotherapy cancer treatment facility. What? Tomotherapy cancer treatment facility. All right. Their 10:20 a.m. spot. This sporadic schedule turned out to be something I actually appreciated because it allowed me to ease into what would be our routine for the next 6 weeks. We even brought our boys along to the first 2 appointments because they were in the evening. Oh, and it was snowing on those 2 evenings. An hour-long drive to and from Denver in the dark with snow. Over Monument Hill, I might add. Oh, that was the good stuff right there. If anything would thicken my skin and make me buck up, it was braving a nighttime snowstorm 2 days in a row. Blame it on that thick skin or the edge that developed within me as a result of our lives being messed with, but I became quite the aggressive driver in no time at all. Picture little old me honking my horn as I was about to be cut off in traffic, or grumbling pleasantries while shaking my finger in the direction of all the bad drivers not slowing down in the construction zone through Castle Rock. Yeah, that's right. I knew it was uncharacteristic of me, but I was simply defending myself, literally, and little did I understand then, figuratively as well. No matter how or why, this sudden change in my demeanor came as a shock to my husband. While my feathers were mightily ruffled on a daily basis, his maintained a lovely order and shine about them. All the time. And, to be honest, one of the biggest sources of my feather ruffling was the simple fact that his weren't. Not at all. Not ever. And I'm actually saying that now, real time. Not ever. More on that. It made me want to shake him and put my face right in his and shout, "Don't you have any feelings about this?" Okay, I might have actually done that, but only once probably. I can't remember. All right, side note, I went to a grief workshop last weekend and they validated that it's okay to be mad at our loved one who passed on. So yes. Chris, didn't you have any feelings about it? He did, but not until I think the very end of his life. And I think he remained quiet because he was trying to protect us and him. Okay. Every morning at 9:15, we pulled out of our driveway and positioned ourselves in the direction of Denver. We'd arrive on the interstate by around 9:25, and Chris would put on his music. He'd sing along and dance to the best of his front seat passenger ability because he wasn't driving. He couldn't drive because he had had a seizure. Let me see. I managed it a little bit, just a little, mind you, and then the corner of my eye would begin to twitch and my fists would clench the steering wheel even tighter. How was there room for frivolity when every day we were driving to a cancer center an hour away for treatment of the tumor taking up residence in my husband's brain? Hi, old Jen, I love you. Yes. Yay. Yay. That's good anger. I love you for this. I kept going back to that kind of sentiment, which, time and again, prevented me from moving forward in a manner of acceptance and eventually hope. My sweet husband often turned his music down, or on really rough days, off. This is truth, my friends. In retrospect, I tried to feel embarrassed for my behavior, but I'm not sorry. And also not proud. I was still myself, but of the jaded variety. Hi, I like the jaded variety. It's real. Feelings that were felt and expressed during those days were authentic byproducts of what we were going through. I couldn't be held responsible for that, and I don't think I was. Chris always received me with grace and patience on my days of such wild unruliness. Let's talk about wild unruliness later, shall we? Oh, I'm glad I picked this one. This is a great one. I'm reminded of when one of our pastors at church made us aware of the extreme that Chris and I were both positioned on and gently encouraged us to be respectful of it. He was on the side of totally positive, unscathed, and solidly dealing with it. I was on the side of freaked out, completely scathed, and not dealing with it at all. I can't help but think that those calendar squares between the end of January and the beginning of March that Chris underwent radiation and feel mostly glad about them. I feel like that was a weird sentence. I'm going to reread it. Hold on. Okay. I can't help but think about those calendar squares between the end of January and the beginning of March that Chris underwent radiation and feel mostly glad about them. When I finally calmed down about 2 weeks in, Chris and I delighted in listening to the music together. We made frequent stops for donuts and befriended the donut makers. Thursdays became our day to stop for lunch and a beer at the brewery on our way home, where we made friends with the bartender there as well. The brewery where we made friends with the bartender. Little did I know then what that brewery would mean in our lives for 9 years. That's funny to think about. But it had to start somewhere, right? On a handful of mornings, pals of ours stepped in and drove us to Chris's appointments. Some days we stopped for caribou coffee along the way. Chris and his friend Ryan enjoyed lunch, a beer, and relaxing discussions on a few Fridays. Chris's parents came down from the north and met us for lunch and conversation. My mom met us at the office to share hugs and visit with me in the waiting room. I smile when I think about how often there was a friend or family member in that treatment center with us. One day, we brought a gaggle of girlfriends up with us, a gaggle. We took up the majority of chairs in the waiting room and had to remember to keep our voices down. In the end, Chris and I took what could have become a huge, monotonous burden and realized that it didn't have to be. Well, Chris was doing that from the get-go. Sometimes I want to feel guilty for all the fun that we had, but realize how crazy that would be. It brings me back to the reason we had to do it all to begin with, and I still find it difficult to think about the awful reality of how badly the tumor in Chris's brain had come back became the cause for so much positivity, personal growth, laughter, and fond memory making with Chris and I, with family and with our friends. I wouldn't have asked for the tumor to have come back, ever, nor do I expect it to again. But I also can't imagine another circumstance that would allow us to file these experiences away in our mind vaults. And I'm thankful for them. I truly am. Okay, well, that makes me emotional. I am angry, and I've changed a lot over these years. And I guess I will say one thing about my husband that I do appreciate, but it also made me nuts, was his positivity. And he always looked at what was good about the things. And so, yeah, we really did make the most of terrible, terrible situations. We really did. We made friends with people everywhere we went. We'd walk into the cancer center and the radiation center, the bakery to get donut everywhere and make friends with people. And so I think that was just a really beautiful thing about Chris and I. Our light really was bright. His light was really bright. So I validate the edgy girl that was just learning about herself early on in these experiences, because she was very real and she managed a lot and worked so hard to keep her family afloat and normalcy for her kids. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild looking back at that. So I love this post very, very much because she was so apologetic and thought that was edgy. I'm laughing because I love her so much. I love her so much. And she and I have been through a lot, especially in the years after he died.